This will be hamstring runners with sliders. We're going to use the bow slides here. So you're going to start laying on your back. And it starts out as a glute bridge. So we're going into our bridge position. You've got your glutes tight here. And then one option, this would probably be the most challenging option, would be to be moving continuously where you're dragging your heels back and forth, but keeping your hips up the whole time. So not letting them sag down as you're pulling back and forth. So keeping them moving continuously is going to be very challenging. So another option would be to slow it down and go more alternating. So reaching one foot out here and alternating, not letting those hips drop. But also, the way to make it more hamstring focused is to make sure the leg that's moving, you're putting a lot of weight into that leg. So maybe think like 70, 80, even 90% of your weight in this leg. So that's going to be very challenging for the hamstring, while the other side's doing a glute bridge. So going back and forth, but loading the weight into that heel, into the slider to make it more hamstring focused. And then another option, which this can be pretty challenging, it can be a bit easier, but you at least have more control over the intensity, is to keep the hips on the floor still, but keep them pretty lightly on the floor. So I'm keeping them down, but I'm putting a lot of weight into my heels here. So even though it looks like it would be pretty easy, I can make this very intense on the hamstrings just by really digging my heels down into the ground. So I can do it continuous, or I can go back to that alternating position too. So you've got different variations depending on your speed, and you've got different variations depending on whether your hips are up or your hips are down and how much pressure you're putting into the sliders. The more pressure you put down into the moving slider, the more hamstring focus it's going to be, which is what we want for these.